Hi everyone, I hope you had a nice week at school, and I just wanted to touch base with you because I opened up week 3 in our course, and so where we should be now is we should be trying to learn female reproductive systems, starting to wrap that up. So this past week, this past Wednesday, we turned in the first homework for male reproductive, and you did a great job on that. So excellent work. That's behind us. We're wrapping up female reproductive. Homework 2 is due this upcoming Wednesday, so we still have a few days left on that. Once you have that homework done, start looking at week 3. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today, basically, like what's involved in week 3. So this upcoming week is the last week that we have in the class where we don't have a test. Okay, so this week what we're going to do is we're going to focus on human development, and that should coincide with the lab. And so just to take a look at our course. Week 2 was, what we're just finishing up, female reproductive system. And I just want to point out, because last week in my announcement, I noticed that in the notes, I didn't link to this video. So I do have a video on follicular maturation, how a primordial follicle develops into a primary follicle, secondary follicle, vesicular follicle, or Graafian follicle. And so I do go through that in this video about ovarian follicle development, but I don't have that link in your notes. So make sure that you watch that, and I think that it will help you with your lab work too. Okay, so that's last week. As far as, what to expect this week, like I said, we're going to wrap up the reproductive system. So this week, you can see that basically we're going to finish up the notes. So we're going to put male, female reproductive system behind us and consider what happens when the egg gets fertilized. And I do have a playlist for you this week, as I do every week. But I just want to mention this week in particular, I'm relying on more videos from other people. So I would definitely suggest watching some of the lectures that I link to, the previous classes that I've taught, just so you can see like more targeted description of our notes. Okay, so you can see I'm looking to videos that are also linked in your notes. I made this video for you about the placenta. You're going to see in our list age restricted. And so this is available. You just have to go to this video and, confirm that you are old enough to watch the video. And like this video, it says that it's unavailable. It's available. You just have to watch it on YouTube. And so some of the videos from this week, they might, like at a quick glance, look like they're not available, but I've double checked this and those are available to you, and I would recommend watching those. But again, this week and every week, but maybe this week more than other weeks, what I would recommend is looking at the recorded lectures. I think in this way, you'll be able to go through the notes step by step and see, what it is that I'm describing. And so just to take a quick look at the notes with you. So starting with human development, we talk about fertilization, like when that could happen, what needs to happen with the sperm in order for fertilization to take place. And once fertilization does take place, how are you going to prevent a second sperm cell from getting into the oocyte? If you did get a second sperm cell entering, like a millisecond later, that would be a non-viable cell. And so we have mechanisms that block the entry of more sperm. So once fertilization occurs, pre-embryonic development will take place. And this is a lot of what the lab has to do with this week, of looking at how the one cell will divide into 2 cells. That fertilized egg divides into 2 cells, into 4 cells, into a solid ball of cells, and finally a hollow sphere of cells called the blastocyst. That's a very important structure. So you should know the structure of the blastocyst, how the blastocyst is going to implant into the endometrium and the new hormone that's secreted by the blastocyst. which is what a pregnancy test is going to target. And so when I teach my class, I use this picture that's on page 21 to talk about how the blastocyst is going to attach to the endometrium, burrow itself into the endometrium, and the anatomy involved in this. And so at the very least, I would suggest pulling up the recorded lecture on this and maybe just, if you don't have a lot of time, fast forwarding to this picture, and you can mark up this picture with me. Okay, so I use colored pencils and I mark up this picture, and I think if you do that with my lecture, that you'll feel better about this material. And then, of course, once implantation is complete, what happens to the part of the conceptus that's going to turn into the offspring is it goes through, a transformational change from being like a solid ball of cells into a two-layered structure called an embryonic disc, into a three-layered structure, which is the embryo. And so I talk about that process of going from the two-layered to three-layered structure is what's known as gastrulation. And so I describe how gastrulation occurs, and again, you can watch this video, that's not my video, or you could go to the recorded lecture and hear, a description of gastrulation. And so during gastrulation, when the embryo forms, it's also when you lay down the groundwork for these embryonic membranes. So these are the 4 embryonic membranes that we're required to know. So I describe in the notes what they are and where they are and what they do. But again, if you pull up my recorded lecture, just, fast forward to this picture and you'll see me mark up this picture. And again, colored pencils, you can mark up this picture with me. And then I think it will make more sense than just looking at the notes. So development of the placenta, we should know about that and the parts of the placenta. I actually did make a video for you on that, so I think that will cover you there pretty good. I mark up this picture, which is a little bit of a recap of what's covered to this point, of how development proceeds and how the membranes change and what the function of the membranes are. And so, probably marking this up with me by pulling up the recorded lecture is a good idea. And then what we do in this class is, instead of, this isn't developmental biology, so we establish everything, and then after that, you can see I'm jumping right to birth. So we don't go week by week or system by system, nothing like that. And so, just follow suit with me here, so you can see we're skipping areas in the book. But we need to know how labor is initiated, how it's hormonally initiated. And so you can see me mark up this picture in the lecture, or, they talk about this in lab, I think, this week too. What are the stages of labor? What occurs during those stages of labor? And then structure of the breast, I never talked about with female reproductive, just because I felt like it made more sense to talk about it here. So here what I'm doing is I'm jumping back to the female reproductive chapter to talk about the structure of the breast, and then to talk about the 2 hormones that are involved in lactation. So, a different hormone is involved for producing the milk compared to ejecting the milk from the breast. And if you find my lecture recording, you can see I talk through this picture and mark up this picture, and I think, it's a negative feedback loop. It'll hopefully make sense to you once you hear that. So that's what we're covering this week. And let's see. Other than that, okay, so recorded lecture is very important to us this week, just because, I'm relying on some other videos this week compared to my own. And other than that, I just want to give you a heads up on the homework. So let's just go back and look at that. There we go. Okay. So homework. So the week 2 homework, that's the homework that's due this upcoming Wednesday. I think February 2nd? 1st? February 1st. So once you finish this, please move right on to week 3 homework. So I put a shortcut here for you. The heads up is week 3 homework has female reproductive on it, and it also has all of the human development on it, because like I said, this homework is due the night before the test opens. This homework has 187 questions on it. it's not listed question by question. I've heard from some of you how much you love these multi-part questions, and so there's a lot of those on here where there's a video where there's, you know, a diagram, and you look at that and you answer multiple questions on it. So that's how it adds up, because I give credit for every single thing you answer. So this is long. I guess that's all I want to say. I want to make sure you know this. So you need to finish this homework, you know, take your time doing that, and once you do that, definitely open homework 3 and work on it over the course of the week. Don't save this for last, right before the test. Work on this progressively. And then, you know, as you look at this, you'll be ready for the test. And then I'm here too, of course. So when you have questions, when you have problems, send me an email, and I will try to help you out the best I can. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.